Hey guys, welcome to Sleepy Vlog number 3. I want to start by just thanking everybody who left really nice notes on the little video I did with my daughter's comic book that she made. It made all of our days here in the Sleepy family to see your nice little comments about my daughter. And it's really fun to be able to do videos with her now and then. So, and my other big shout out is to my wife, who for my birthday a few weeks ago, I forgot to mention this before, gave me this present that blew my mind. It's a near mint edition of Conan number 25, signed by John Buscema. So my wife was paying attention to my videos because a while back I did a video about my most irreplaceable comic book, and that was this. It's the third comic book I ever owned as a kid, the only one I still own, but in a really ragged, ripped up condition, and I have real strong attachment to the John Buscema Conan, especially this very first issue that he ever did. So it was really cool of my wife to get this for me, and signed by John Buscema on the inside splash page. I'm gonna have to get a better bag for it, but I'm really pleased. And normally, like many of you may have seen the recent video by Ghost Critic. I always want to call you Ghost Rider and see your head go up in flames. By Ghost Critic, where he talked about how he's not much interested in autographs. And I have to say, I feel pretty much the same way in general, but there's something really cool about having an autographed edition of a comic book that has a really strong feeling for you by an artist, you know, whose work you've really loved. And so that teaches me why people like autographed comic books. And that's why autographed books and comics are valuable to certain people and add value, which I'm guessing is why some of the creators who are really famous now charge money to sign works, because their signature adds value. I've talked to science fiction writers, some famous ones like Ursula Le Guin, who are a little upset when they do signings and people come along with 25, 30 books for them to sign, and she's pretty sure they're going to go sell them on eBay after she has signed them. So they're not real fans of hers. They're not doing it to meet her so much as to make money, extra money off of her. So you can sort of see why creators might want to charge for their signatures. But you know, that does sort of take away from the meaning and the significance of signatures. But for sentimental value, I suddenly find myself really liking having a signature on one of my all-time, most important to me personally, comic books. So, you know, that was really great of my wife. It was a really wonderful and totally surprising gift, which you don't always get at my advanced age. So, like everyone else, I've been looking a little bit at Marvel now, particularly about, you know, what is my current favorite Marvel comic book is the Fantastic Four and FF, done by Jonathan Hickman, who will be leaving it to be replaced by Matt Fraction, who's a writer I don't know as much about. I have yet to be, you know, fantastically wowed by anything of his I've read, but I haven't read a lot by him. But I've heard people complain about him. And then I hear that the new Fantastic Four, which is going to be drawn by Mark Bagley, who's a very good superhero artist, is supposedly, its theme is that the Fantastic Four go out on the road and have adventures on the road. And road trips and superheroes, to me, have usually not spelled good things. So we'll have to see. I mean, I'll definitely give it a chance. In this promotional material, it does, both for the FF and, I don't know if you can see that, and for the Fantastic Four, shows that they're still at $2.99 price point. So it makes it more painless to give it a shot. But also, yeah, the new FF, which was kind of a story about the Future Foundation, which was kind of a bunch of kids and superheroes together, now is just this new team here with the She-Hulk and some kind of She-Thing and Ant-Man and Medusa, and it's drawn by Michael Allred. It's going to be a totally different beast. It'd probably be quite fun, but it's kind of a shame that the original idea behind it's kind of could be lost. So it's just another team book, a wacky team book. Maybe they'll be working out of the Baxter Building also. And the Baxter Building seems like such a part of the Fantastic Four to send them out on the road for a really extended period of time. What are they doing? Trying to find the soul of America or something? I just think of them as the cosmic team. They should be going to other dimensions and dealing with wacky inventions and ultra superpowered cosmic villains. So anyway, we'll see how that is. Captain America is going to be written by Rick Remender, who's a great writer, and drawn by John Romita Jr., who I like, but he seems lately to be less satisfying an artist. But Captain America seems like a really good choice for him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they'll do with him there. This is a really cool cover here. And I have a subscription to that one. I assume the subscription will continue when they reboot it. So I expect to continue to get that. X-Men Legacy, I just happened across that cover. I thought that was pretty cool. And here's a very cool Deadpool cover. I haven't gotten on the Deadpool bandwagon, but that is a cool cover. An interesting thing here, so my obsession with pricing of comics, because I buy a lot of comics, or I try to buy as many as I can, and I want to enjoy as many as I can, so I try to avoid the higher price point. Deadpool shows as $2.99 here. I don't know if that's going to be visible, but it also shows a free digital download, and I'm wondering if one or the other of those details is wrong, or if they'll be giving free digital downloads with some of the $2.99 ones. That would be really cool. I mean, I have nothing against a free digital download as long as it doesn't cost me extra. So anyway, that's interesting. The other ones that are $2.99 don't show digital downloads in their covers. I also had wondered if Marvel Now would have been an opportunity for Marvel to change their pricing structure, as they reboot, since either they could raise the prices of a bunch of comics, thinking now we're going to make even more money, everyone will have to buy the number ones, etc., or they might, having seen sales gone down with higher prices, lower some prices and feel like they're saving face because they're rebooting, so it's not like we lowered a price on a comic book that already existed. Anyway, from the looks of these things, they're keeping the same prices. So the FF is going to be at $2.99, Deadpool is going to be at $2.99, X-Men Legacy is going to be at $2.99, but Captain America and the Avengers and Thor and Iron Man will all be at the higher price point. I'm very intrigued by Avengers written by Rick Remender, and I'm very intrigued by Avengers written by Jonathan Hickman. So it's going to be hard to not pick those up despite the high prices. But I'm going to be looking into ways around those high prices. Thor is very interesting with Jason Aaron on it. This is the only image I've seen of it, and it's kind of he looks like kind of a Nazi weightlifter in this picture, so I hope this picture is not the way all the artwork will look like. I mean, a cool painted looking Thor might be fun, but often they have just painted covers and not the insides, so we need to find out more there. It's also on a lot of these says join the revolution. I hope there's nothing really revolutionary about it. As far as I can't tell, there isn't anything revolutionary about any of this, except for the weird choice of bringing the original X-Men through time into our time, which is going to create such a continuity headache. But one of the revolutionary parts about Marvel Now that I like is the cover redesigns, the idea that they're going to do them like movie posters. So everything above this red area will be up to the artist to design in different ways. So the titles could go in all kinds of different places. Occasionally comic books do that, but I think that makes a lot of sense as we more and more view comic books as works of art and not just cheap throwaway periodicals whose titles need to be right at the top so you can see them on the old-fashioned newsstand. And Mark Waid doing Hulk, that's really hard to resist. The Indestructible Hulk, pretty cool looking artwork on that cover. But again, at the higher price point. Kind of a bummer when these writers that I've been enjoying, like Mark Waid and Jonathan Hickman, who've been on cheaper comics, will suddenly be on more expensive ones. I don't know about... I haven't been a fan of Greg Land artwork, and he's switching to Iron Man. But I'm not a huge fan of the artwork that's already on Iron Man, so that's not too big of a deal. This cover looks cool again. Just from the samples we see, there's going to be a lot of cool covers. I really like the style that Marvel's going for on the covers. So that's something to look forward to. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on Marvel now. My typical obsessing about the prices and the writers. And particularly a little bit upset by what I'm hearing about the Fantastic Four in particular, because for me, if I get one Marvel comic, I wish I was getting the Fantastic Four. I wish the Fantastic Four were good. Other little tidbits. For those of you who are interested in Saga by brain damage there, by Vaughn and can't remember her name now, by that great artist who's on Saga. The Image comic Saga is coming out in trade paperback, and everywhere I see it listed for $9.99. So you get the 6-issue trade paperback for $9.99. I don't see how you can lose there. Everyone who's curious should try it out, with the caveat that it's a very adult comic book. So kids are probably not going to like it and probably be a little disturbed by it. And then another weird thing is, and most of you guys probably know about this Kickstarter thing that Mark Silvestri and other people behind the reboot of the Cyberforce comic book are doing on Kickstarter. They've raised $80,000 or maybe more, so that they can produce the first 5 issues of Cyberforce for free. So they're going to give them out for free at comic book stores or free digital copies. I never read Cyberforce in the past. I actually avoided all or almost all of the Image superhero comics when they first came out. I wasn't really into that style at the time. I was more of a Vertigo guy at the time, and that sort of thing. But it's very intriguing, 5 free comics, and you admire them for going to Kickstarter and stuff. The one thing that I thought was bad when I read about it is the comic book stores are actually going to have to pay 25 cents per issue. And that's not a whole lot of money, but comic book stores the owners are struggling. They don't make huge profits as far as I understand. And if they're doing free comics, how many copies do they buy? How much of their own money do they lay out? $25, I guess, is nothing for 100 copies, but they all go through those 100 copies real fast. And it seems like, well, to me, I guess it wouldn't be as big of a publicity stunt, but they could sell them for 50 cents. And the comic book stores could pay 25 cents and make a 25-cent profit off of them, or something like that. I think the theory is that that these free comics are going to get a lot of publicity and have people coming into the comic book stores. So then the comic book store owners will make money from that, from people coming in and buying other things. But then if that does happen, the comic book store has to stock a lot of Cyberforce. So I don't know. It feels like something that's maybe not fair to comic book store owners, but the full economics of all these things I don't actually understand. And what else has been on my mind? One thing is just because I'm a pretty big Walt Simonson fan, I noticed this upcoming graphic novel, a Batman graphic novel, clearly about Two-Face, drawn by Walt Simonson. But I find that pretty ugly artwork, I guess, and maybe just kind of the whole picture is kind of a mess. Generally, I think of Walt Simonson as a master of really great layouts. Sometimes his penciling is pretty loose, but hopefully this doesn't mean, hopefully the whole comic won't look like this. But so it's interesting to see Walt. I don't know if Walt Simonson has ever done Batman before. He's probably done him somewhere, but I don't associate him at all with Batman. So I'm kind of curious. I think he's writing it too, so what Walt Simonson will do with Batman, the Judas coin. So I think that's all for my sleepy vlog tonight. I did want to say there's an interesting video by Stephen Walker, about buying original art. When we were talking earlier about autographs, the thing, just like Ghost Critic, just like Ghost Critic, I would like, at least in theory, to get into collecting some original art. That might be the kind of thing that I'd love to get for a birthday present or something, or when I'm ready to splurge. And it seems like Steve has done quite a bit of collecting already, so of art. So if anyone's curious about that, I'm putting a link to his video down below. I just always assumed buying art is a really expensive and complicated process, but it seems quite doable, and so I'm going to look into that in the future. Next time I happen to have some spare cash to spend. Right now I'm spending quite a bit as it is, just enjoying comics. So I will talk to all of you very soon, and I'm looking for all your videos. Bye-bye.